How old does the Bible say the earth is? Billions of years old or thousands of years old? The Bible, first off, is not necessarily a scientific textbook. It is a book that describes why it is that there is something rather than nothing. With that being said, there's a big difference between billions of years and thousands of years. There are lots of different ways to kind of thread this needle, to think through this. One of the ways you can thread this needle is we don't exactly know how long Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. I suppose it could have been a very long time because they were eternal, and so you can get a few years there. But once you get into the fall, once you get into sin, the Bible does seem to have a clock that kind of ticks via genealogies. And these genealogies, especially in the book of Genesis, this is also important to understand. These genealogies don't necessarily include every jot and tittle of every single little part of everybody's family tree, but it's still pretty hard to get from a few thousand years to a few billion years out of these genealogies. And so there does seem to be a little bit of a tension here between a popular version of the world and a biblical genealogical version of the world. And what we would say here is there are different ways to begin to think through why the Bible might be right on this, but this much we know. The Bible has ultimate authority, and so we need to take the Bible at its word. And this much we also know. When the Bible talks about who lived, folks like Adam and Eve, were they real? Yes. The people in the genealogies, were they real? Yes. And should we take the Bible at its word? Yes.
Great answer. That's one of the questions that we face every day, isn't it? And on the big scheme, on the large screen, the question is, do we follow the theories, the ideas, the philosophies, the wisdom of the world, or do we follow God's Word? And our hope, our desire as your pastors is that in those places where we don't have definitive answers, we still choose God's Word.